them one after the other. Oh! Whoa! Oh! Yo! AEA Zeus broke a clay. First shot. I broke a clay. I touched it. That's all that matters. I was here. It was there. I touched it. That's what matters. What is up, guys? Maccabee Speed coming at you. Great episode today out at USI. United Sportsman in Concord, California has been an absolute catalyst for the channel this summer, and we're just really hitting our stride out here. We've got two forms of shotgun. We've got the traditional 12 gauge powder burning Mossberg Maverick 88, and then we've got the less well-known but still completely potent 4,500 PSI AEA Zeus. Now this is touted as 72 caliber because most of them come from the factory with a rifled barrel. But this one here has a Texoma Precision Pellets smoothbore barrel with a choke adapter. Based on the fact that I don't have a choke screwed into this at this point, I can shoot slugs through it, which is where we're gonna start our day today, right? About 12 yards away from me, maybe a little bit further, I have two 12 by 12 targets, and I'm gonna go ahead and hammer them both with some slugs from the Zeus, as well as some slugs from the Maverick 88. I'm pretty sure that there's like a coin toss chance I'm leaving here with a fat lip over this Mav 88 because I'm not super proficient yet. But I've got some expert help here with me today and hopefully be able to pick up on the finer points of shotgun. Now today we've got some Rio 12 gauge Foster slugs that we're going to be using in the Maverick 88. And if you haven't seen it before, even though this is a very, very, very prolific shotgun, this is how it loads up. Easy peasy. Feed them one after the other. Brass primer towards the trigger group. This is a 5+1. So that right there is fully loaded. You wouldn't be able to get another shell in past that point. Let's take a look at the ammunition that we'll be using for the Zeus. Now today, as far as the menu is concerned for the AEA Zeus, I've got these big bad slugs from Texoma Precision Pellets. They sent out some 72 caliber 900 grain rounds. Now I have not shot this specific air weapon since I put it back together and put it in this tactical chassis. So the pressure that we have in it currently is about 200 bar, and that's where I'm going to take my first test shot just to go ahead and like eliminate the possibility of any catastrophic failures, right? It's an air gun. You're basically holding a canister full of extremely pressurized air directly next to your face. You got to take safety into consideration. Let's go ahead and get some hearing protection on, set up a target camera, and see what happens. All right, guys, as we have historically done on this channel time and time again, because I just don't have the pocketbook leverage to be able to spend useless ammo wasted downrange, I'm gonna start with my Strong Tools bore sighter. Now, I am not sponsored by Strong Tools, but they have made an extremely robust laser that's been with me close to 2 years now. So if you need one that's gonna last you for the duration, maybe check them out. What this basically does, if you're unfamiliar with the bore sighter, this taper flares out inside of the barrel, and then this taper meets the actual muzzle itself. Then what happens is it projects this beam, green laser beam, down on target, and you would match your reticle up with that beam point. Pushed all the way in there. Green laser is active. Good to go. Now I'll make sure that all my adjustment screws are visible, which they are. Hit the power button on the red dot optic. Adjust the scope. Why do I not have a power button here? Oh, it's the other side. I was hitting the wrong button. So now I know you guys can't see through this optic right now, but from what I can see, I have a green dot to the right and just low, and I'm gonna go ahead and adjust the red dot until I see that exactly crossing over where that green dot is on the paper. That should give me point of aim and point of impact relatively close to each other. It's not a perfect science. Sometimes you have to like micro adjust it and fine tune it, but this is a great way to really get yourself on the paper. Oh, she's moving. This optic from Thomas at Bluegrass Big Bore, very responsive. The sniper line that he has, pretty good. Haven't had any concerns with it at this point. I think I'm going to be on target enough to be able to do the job with my poor skill set, right? Okay. How much pressure is in it? I hate looking at this thing. Who puts a gauge by the business end of the weapon? 20 MPa. That's where we start today. So this is about as professional as I can possibly bring to the table for an air gun versus shotgun comparison episode. I got my chronograph, I am in a controlled environment, professional controlled environment, great facility here, and I've got my targets all set up with my cameras running. I'm going to use the pressure stated, and we're going to go ahead and use the bore sight that we've established. Let's see how this gun runs. Ooh, ears. I almost forgot the secondary ears. It could be really loud. Plus, I'll just say it, I'm kind of a puss when it comes to the loud noises. I don't like loud noises very much. All right. Fits into the bore good. Even though this is a smooth bore, it did fit into the bore good. Okay. Very violent. This is a very violent air rifle. Fire. I knew it was going to be bad, and I totally jerked it, and I think that the footage is going to show that. Low left 100%, but I'm absolutely confident that we could fill this up to the correct pressure and get a true showing out of it. Let's continue that. 552 was kind of an anemic velocity as far as 900 grains is concerned, but that still makes a lot of energy based on the fact that the round is just so massive. I don't care. Hey, if you've never shot the Zeus, you don't know, but I was definitely kind of afraid to pull the trigger that first shot. It's also compounded by the fact that my offhand skill's not great. Filling. And I did fill this all the way to 4,500 PSI last night, but it did sit overnight. So we're at about, let's see where we got to pressure-wise. It's the stupidest place for a gauge. 26 MPa out of 30, so that's a very viable fill, and we do get a handful of shots on this pressure level before we have to go ahead and top it back up again. So even though that, you know, pressure dynamics versus temperature dynamics kind of played a role on us last night, we're still going to be able to get some good testing if I do my job here, right? It has yet to be seen. Let's load back up and see. Also, if it just groups where I had it, maybe I have the bore sight wrong. That's also possible. Do better. Yeah, the bore sight might be a little bit off because it does look like it's actually grouping just low. 656 feet per second on that last shot. Because of the fact that it is kind of grouping and I am performing somewhat of an accuracy comparison at this point, I'm just going to go ahead and continue to group it as opposed to getting it on that center bullseye based on the lack of available pressure I have on the range with that small bottle and also the time, right? I'm using somebody else's time right now. Little bit better. This trigger is kind of egregious because it is a Gen 1 versus that really silky trigger on the Gen 2, but 607 feet per second, 900 grains, and just about where I was aiming. So let's try and see if we can do that again. I was literally intimidated by this though. It's not as bad as I remember, but it's also not like full ass pressure. I've already been bit by this once. Okay, so it's a little bit better. 524 feet per second, kind of settling into what the shot cycle feels like on this tactical Zeus, and it is putting in the work if I focus on my fundamentals. My fundamentals, as we've historically seen, aren't great, but today we're doing the job. This will be the last volley on the slugs themselves, just because I really want to go ahead and save my pressure for the shotgun, the actual shotgun segment, right? There's a possibility today we might make it to the trap and skeet range. So if we can compare a powder burner versus an air shotgun with air shotgun shells, it's got to be content gold, right? Stick around. Once again, if I didn't tell you guys, 524 feet per second on the last shot. Kind of grouping, kind of cloverleafing there, not bad. I'm going to give you guys 3 more shots, kind of round out a 5-round group there. 598 feet per second, 900 grains. .581. So even though this tank is fairly small comparatively to some of the other ones in my collection, we are getting a stable shot string out of it and a usable amount of power with good grouping, even though there's no rifling in this bore. Last shot. Little bit high, but I definitely felt myself anticipate and jerk back with the rifle before I pulled the trigger. So that's definitely on me. All right. So once I settled into it and started to do my job, the AEA Zeus, even with the smoothbore, definitely did its job. I'm happy with that. I haven't shot that gun in a long time, and we had no hangups and no foibles. That's more than you can say about most air gun outings. Let's go ahead and check out the Mav 88 and see what we can do. I will just throw it out there. I'm not great with the shotgun. The whole I'm at risk for a fat lip thing, it's possible, right? I'm going to do the very best I can, but if you guys see something that I'm doing wrong shotgun rhetoric, do throw it down in the comment section so that I can get better, right? I'm no John Wick here. I'm just trying to improve. Mav 88, super sick. Not the standard black. We got the tan one. This is pretty cool. This was less than 300 bucks out the door, and I've been very happy with it so far. Let's see what we can do at this distance with this green dot and these slugs. Here we go. Ready. When I got bit by it last time, my thumb was right over the top of it like this, and that's what kept hitting me. So I'm just going to keep my thumb off to the right this time and hope for the best. Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Because when I had it like this, I kept getting clipped.
Why?
My thumb would smack into my face.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm not holding it right or what, but when I was doing it last time, I was holding it just like this, and I kept feeling this part of my thumb whack this part of my face.
So then you're not holding it right.
Oh, that's possible. Highly likely.
So let me take a look. I've not seen you shoot your shot.
All right, so here we go. Off safe. Target's out there. This is so much more recoil than the Zeus. It's not even close, dude. People say the Zeus kicks like a 12 gauge shotgun. Having done both back to back, it's not the same. It's not the same. This is significantly more kick. Yeah, that time, you see, I bet you guys on camera saw that. That time, either I got lazy or I'm doing something wrong because I almost got clipped by it. It is a laziness thing. If I'm not tight at all right in this section of my body, it wants to move on me. Yeah. Even the slightest bit of lack of tension in this upper portion of my torso, and it's for sure coming back. Let's go ahead and load up 5 more slugs. 1,251 feet per second on that last shot. So this is making energy. I'll throw the energies up between the AEA Zeus and what we just saw on the screen for you now. Pull them right out of my little bandolier here, right? All the clear casings, so I know for sure I've got Foster slugs on this range. Put 5 more in it, and I'm just going to go ahead and try and Kentucky windage myself on target at this point and drag it over. If I'm hitting the left side of the target when I'm aiming at the center, if I aim at the right side of the target, I should hit the middle. (1,251 feet per second with a Foster slug is really stout. Is there 5 in there? Yeah, that's 5. I would really like to try those shorter mini shells, but I don't have the adapter for it yet. Here we go. Oh, it's still in there. A little bit better. 1276 velocity. 1243. Better. 1253. Not good. 1227. I think this is the last shot. I don't know where that one went. 1237. Is that all of them? Yeah, that's it. Clear. Definitely extremely intense. The shot cycle is much more intense on the 12 gauge, but let's not discount the lethal energy that's being dumped down range with the Zeus. 2 different tools, definitely effective terminal energy. It's just about what kind of ballistics you're really looking at round to round. And I'll throw that up on the screen for you now. There's no reason to go home with only 5 slugs left, right? If you have only 5 slugs left, you should shoot those 5 slugs. And my good friend Mark here at the range, he's a great RSO, has been teaching me some good skills. Said if I lean into this thing a little bit more, I might have better results. So I want to use my last 5 shells and try it, right? Why not pick up a little bit of education while you're here? Plus, it's really gratifying to shoot this thing. Honestly, just the smoke and noise and percussion into your shoulder, it feels cool. All right. Double hearing protection. All right. Hit the little slide unlock thing. Ready. Lean forward. Better. Last shot. Decent. But look at that, guys. 100%. Sometimes the extra violence of the shot cycle really translates itself downrange. I feel like I got a tighter group with the smoothbore Zeus than I did with the smoothbore Mossberg. Throw it down in the comments what you guys think. Do have my chronograph here still ready to rock and roll for you boys, and I've got an absolute plethora of birdshot shells in front of me. Now, I had never heard of Rio shells before I started shooting this shotgun, but they've been extremely reliable for me. I've never had one get hit by the firing pin and not go bang. So for me, this is reliability. We'll see what it does today. As far as Zeus is concerned, Texoma Precision pellets, really cool looking, really cleanly produced, 72 caliber shot shells. And effectively what you have here is you have every single bit of what's going to be in the business end of this Star Team shell with none of the powder repellent. Because I already know going into it that the Mossberg Maverick 88 is such a tried and true platform that it's going to effectively work no matter what, I think that's a great baseline for us. What would the established standard do? After we see what that established standard does here at about 12 to 15 yards, we'll move directly over to the Zeus with the Texoma Precision shells and see if we can emulate that result.
We're at 17 yards.
17 yards?
7 and 17.
Correction, 17 yards. Here we are at 17 yards. Same process as before. I'm not good. I'm not going to act like I can just, slip 4 into the breech like I'm a pro or something. So I'm just going to go ahead and feed them in just exactly the way that I did previously. One after the other, real deliberate. I'm no Michalak, right? I think that might be 5. Yeah, that's 5. I'm not going to do the whole +1 thing yet because I'm so new still with firearms that having something chambered kind of makes me uncomfortable. Kind of makes me a little bit nervous, right? So I'm just going to leave everything magazine ready and then get it into battery when I'm actually ready to shoot it. Let's go ahead and take a shot at this. Really lean into it just like the instructor said here. Cover off. Lean in. Right side target. Dude, it worked like gangbusters. What else do you want? Oh my God, that's the best result that I personally have seen with a shotgun and buckshot in my time testing on YouTube. I know that we've done some mild Zeus testing, but as far as patterning a shotgun, like an actual shotgun with an amicable result, that's gangbusters. If it does it 4 more times, we're not going to have a target left. So let's see what we get out of this thing. Good as hell. Good as hell. What else do you want? Show me how I could improve on that. I feel like that's excellent. And that's honestly probably about 50% of why people defer to the Mossberg Maverick 88 is because of the reliability and effectiveness. I think the other 50% got to be that introductory price point of sub $300, bringing generational reliability to the table. Let's just go down range and see what we did at 17 yards. That was good. What do you want? What more do you want? That's so cool to me, dude. The whole target is lit up. And I know, like, in my heart, people always talking about how birdshot is not really a defensive round, but the mental implications of being hit with this, you would instantly have no fight left in your mentality. You would not be trying to continue whatever you were doing if you got hit with this. So I know birdshot is not typically considered a home defensive round, but that's really, 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 really effective, at least in the patterning. Now, I'm not going to waste any time with this, right? I know now exactly what it feels like to shoot the Mossberg with birdshot. We're going to move directly in, apples to apples, Zeus with birdshot. I know there's like a portion of my community out there that thinks I've like abandoned the airgun side and I'm all about the firearms now, but it's just not the case. You know, there's a place for one and there's a place for the other, and I do enjoy them both. So this is a good chance to experience that. Let's see what the Zeus can do. Okay. Using the bolt to kind of feed this in. Okay. That's actually pretty good too. Shockingly good. I've got a Carlson 640 turkey choke on this, and it seems to have done exactly what it was advertised to do. Let's go ahead and hit this a couple more times and see if it continues to perform, because that shell did absolutely do what a shotgun is designated to do. Same exact type of shell. A little bit fat on the end. So I'm just gonna like use the bolt itself. I don't like it. I don't want to put this one down the breech. That one is not going to be shot just because of the fact that it was potentially oversized. If you run into a funny hang-up like that and you have something that's going to become a bore obstruction rather than a projectile, don't ever do it. It's not a good move. It's not a good try, right? So we'll go ahead and try a different round and see what happens. This one's not as fat. That one worked okay. A little bit wider of a shot pattern. Maybe I'm down on pressure. You think? You guys want to tether up and just give her hell? I think we can do it. I feel like the recoil's not too bad with these birdshot. Shells. So for me, I'm just going to go ahead and leave it tethered and hope for the best. I knew I was close to the airport. You guys hear the jets up top? That's why I didn't bring my drone. Also a little bit fat on that one. Also a little bit fat, but significantly easier than the one that didn't work. Tethered up. Better. So it was a pressure thing. I do think it was a pressure thing. Just for S&Gs, I'm going to go ahead and try this slightly different side. Oh no. This looks like it's got bigger shot in it. We're not going to try it for S&Gs, I guess. Continue with the final birdshot shell, same as the ones we've been previously doing, so that at least we know we have a good frame of reference if we get to shoot some clays today. Now, the one thing I will say about this style shell is these are actually older style shells from the Texoma factory. I got these about a year ago. So I know he's definitely been making forward strides because of the new AEA 12 gauge double barrel harpoon. And he's made some incredible shells since that point, which I also would like to try out, right? You want to get the left-hand target to light up as much as the right. It's going to take some good ammunition, and Jim's been known for that. Even better, even better. So I think it is a pressure thing. It's working better now that we've tethered it up. And I think that this choke is really where you're going to see the sweet spot of effectiveness